Hello everyone, today I'm making a video that I was actually planning on making anyways, as I figured that Rip-Ride-Rockit's days were numbered, but the announcement came a lot sooner than I was expecting. But regardless, after my first time riding Rip-Ride-Rockit this past December, I realized why this ride is so outdated. I'm someone that tries not to watch POVs of roller coasters before I go on them, but Rip-Ride-Rockit being such an icon of the Universal Orlando resorts, I've just seen a lot of videos of it throughout the years, and I've even been to the Universal Orlando resort. I just haven't been to Universal Studios. But I always thought Rip-Ride-Rockit just had an extremely strange layout, but I always see other enthusiasts that have this ride ranked so high in their top coaster list, so I went to Rip-Ride-Rockit honestly willing to give it the benefit of the doubt in a way, but I was so disappointed. So today I'm going to tell you why I think Rip-Ride-Rockit sucks and why I'm glad it's getting removed. Firstly, I would like to get the things that I like about Rip-Ride-Rockit out of the way. Starting with the music that's on the ride, it's a very limited selection nowadays, but it's obvious that Universal has kind of cared less and less about this feature, and on a few of my rides the sound was kind of glitchy. It's a cool effect in theory, but I think in previous times it's kind of had more upkeep. More importantly than the music though, the capacity is actually pretty good on this ride, and there really was never more than a 20-minute wait during my time at the park. But that's honestly about where the positives end for Rip-Ride-Rockit with me. I think this ride tried to do way too much. Universal wanted this to be the perfect roller coaster, balancing its thrill with its innovation and theming, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they managed to fail in all three of these categories, and I think the ride overall was just a complete failure for Universal. Rip-Ride-Rockit seems like a roller coaster designed to be the greatest roller coaster ever by people who don't know anything about roller coasters. In addition, I think that this project was just too ambitious in general. It's sort of crazy the amount of money Universal has poured into this coaster, and it's honestly surprising they didn't pull the plug on it sooner. And a lot of people have harped on this, so I won't say too much, but the theming, even for 2009 when the ride opened, is just kind of outdated. I see what they were going for, but it's just kind of eh. But alright, let's get into the ride layout and why specifically I think this ride is bad. You have a drop which gives alright air in the back row, but before the drop is even over, you notice a massive issue that plagues the entire ride. The trains significantly shuffle around the track, and it's really noticeable in these first few elements where the train is going the fastest. El Tour Orion has a great video with a much more in-depth analysis of Rip-Ride-Rockit, and while I recommend the video for explanations of some of these things I discuss here, it doesn't really justify why it should be happening, not for a steel coaster this new. I really tried to ignore this and enjoy what I possibly could of Rip-Ride-Rockit, but it was just a losing battle. It turns the very few enjoyable moments of this coaster into a battle. But continuing with the layout, you have a non-inverting loop, which was actually the first ever one. I'm kind of meh on this element. When you're sitting in the back, you do have nice whip entering and exiting, but besides that, it didn't really impress me. After you exit, you have a pop-up into the first of many brake runs. Normally I would call this a mid-course brake run, but there's honestly nothing mid-course about this brake run. In order to have the highest throughput possible, Universal and Maurer came up with a solution to add as many brake runs as needed, so they're able to send trains more frequently. In this sense, the coaster kind of feels like a scaled up Wild Mouse coaster with trains kind of running everywhere. It's great to get footage, but this comes with an enormous downside. That is essentially half of the elements on this coaster are brake runs. If the brake runs had a lot of good elements and good profiling between them, you really wouldn't hear me complain, but they don't. After the first mid-course brake run, you have this upward helix, which is a little intense, but again, the roughness completely ruins it. Then after that, you have another brake run. You have some curved sections which lead the coaster behind the lift hill near the front of the park, and then you have another brake run. Following this is a winding section of track, followed by a helix, and then, you guessed it, a brake run, which just has a little bit of track after, which leads into the station. It's just overall a very pointless layout, and as I've been emphasizing, any interesting part of this ride is completely ruined by the roughness. Universal tried to make the greatest roller coaster ever with Rip-Ride-Rockit, and I think their heart was in the right place, but I think the Maurer X-Car coaster was just not the right fit for this project. While it might have made sense to go with B&M, rumored manufacturer for the project that would become Rip-Ride-Rockit, I honestly don't think their hyper coaster would have been a great fit for this project either, considering the small footprint they had to work with. This was one of those coaster projects that I think was just doomed from the start, and Universal certainly tried to make things work by constantly investing into this ride, But it's been clear for a while that Rip-Ride-Rockit has just become a very outdated attraction, even in its short life. But at the same time, it leaves me very excited to see what Universal has coming to replacement, especially with Intamin Amusement Rides being the company rumored for the job. Regardless of what replaces it though, I'm very happy to see the end of Rip-Ride-Rockit, as I honestly think its existence made the Universal ride lineup worse. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of Rip-Ride-Rockit. I will admit I still had fun on my rides, even though I thought my experience wasn't all that great. So be sure to get to Universal before September of next year to ride Rip-Ride-Rockit. But that's all I got for you today. So you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you in the next one.